my peppermint jar didn't have a very secure lid on it, and it just smashed all over. I saved most of the peppermint, but oh boy. Yeah, she loves corn. Loves corn. She probably likes beans too. Actually, she loves hummus. She loves food. I've never actually had a cat that loved food the way she loves food. Well, I had to just come out here and sit in the garden today, and I thought I'd just chat with you a little bit. Despite the millions of noises going on all around me, I don't even know what is happening. It's like airplanes all of a sudden and weed whackers, and it's just like a lot. So we will see if this recording works. But yeah, gosh, I kind of gave up on the garden. And I guess maybe a better way to say that is I surrendered. And I surrendered because I had to. I was finding myself feeling a lot of frustration, a lot of failure. I was comparing myself to other people online who've been growing gardens, and you know, they're bringing in these huge harvests right now of tomatoes and peppers and all these things, and I'm not. We have been in a severe drought. I know I'm a broken record saying that, but there have been some other things, and those other things are like serious pest pressure to the point where, let's talk about squash bugs. So we had squash bugs before we ever grew squash in our house. The kids call them stink bugs, and they were like little dinosaur-y looking bugs, and they climb all over our windows. We find them, like, we'll go do laundry and we'll find them in our laundry baskets. Like, they're everywhere. They don't die in the winter. They like cling onto our house, and they find ways to come in. And I didn't know those were squash bugs. So then we planted squash last year, and I learned all about squash bugs. Come to find out, they're these stink bugs that have been all over our house for years. And they're devastating. I barely grew one zucchini per zucchini plant. It was devastating. Like, it is. One day Chloe and I came out and we picked off probably 100, 200 squash bugs, tried to feed them to the chicken, and the next day she was like, Mom, they're all back. Like, they just had more babies. They have so many babies. It's like, I've just never seen anything like it. And they will devastate other plants too. It's not just the squash. And cucumber beetles. So our cucumber beetles are out of control, couldn't grow cucumbers. They were on my potatoes. They were everywhere. So it was just like so much. And then the chipmunks were getting in. They ate all our ground cherries. I don't know what else they ate. All the strawberries got eaten, and we'll come up with a plan for that next year, because we can probably do some netting or something like that. But just to say, I have all of this space, this huge garden, and right now there's like nothing coming in. I mean, I've got some cherry tomatoes. Another thing that happened is there were 2 rows of the garden which basically grew nothing. And for some reason, my peppers, even though they're gorgeous, didn't really produce a lot of fruit. I think that was probably because of the drought. They were just like, like not making a ton of flowers. They're actually making some flowers now. So I just kind of gave up on it, and I said, I'm just gonna let it be. I'm just gonna let this garden be, and I will come back when I have it in me. So I'm coming back, and I'm just kind of looking around and seeing what I can do and how I can plant things like radishes. I mean, there's other things too. Like, I had that horrible carrot fly problem. It was just like, if it could happen this year, it happened. So it was tough. It's hard to put so much time and energy into something and then have it not work out and you think, wow, I could have just gone to the farmer's market and bought something. However, that's not the only reason we grow. So I just had to remind myself how much joy this garden brings me and how beautiful this space is. And there's still a lot of things to dig up. You know, my potatoes, even though they're this big because they didn't get water, they're still beautiful, delicious potatoes, and they're scattered all over the garden. I don't even know if I'll find them all. It'll be like hide and seek. And the herbs are beautiful. The sage is gorgeous. I'm gonna do a huge sage harvest soon. The rapacante squash is withstanding the squash bugs just a little bit. I think just enough to get me some squash. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay to have seasons where you have to kind of let go. And this is a season for me where I've had to just let go. It is, you know, my garden is set up for flooding. We are set up for flooding. We have built the garden up so that when we get a foot of rain, our plants don't die. We're not set up for a drought. So this has definitely challenged us and made us think about what we need to do in different weather systems, because obviously it's going to change from year to year, especially as unpredictable as climate is right now. But there's a lot of beauty and a lot of good, and so I just needed to come and sit in here today and see it and feel it and just know that we get another chance. Like, we get to appreciate and see all of this, and we get another chance. There's another garden season that will be upon us after the winter rest. So I've got cabbage moths fluttering around me. They're so pretty and they're so destructive. Yeah, I'm blinking a lot because I'm like staring into the bright sun. So I'll take you around and show you a couple things. Well, here are the sweet potatoes. I have no idea if there are going to be sweet potatoes under there. I am really curious and I kind of want to dig a little bit to see, but here's my Daikon radish. This was a success. I wish I had planted the entire row of daikon because this is one of the rows that doesn't grow anything. You can kind of see here, these bean plants are very, very teeny tiny, and that's just because this was one of the rows that didn't grow. But we are building it up, so you can see right here, we're building that up. I think these are cow peas. I think I'm growing those to dry them. I should probably take one off and just try it. Yeah, that wasn't good. So we'll dry those. So here is the rapacante. This is the first one that's starting to dry. I've got a couple more scattered about. Isn't that funny? I'm looking like there's no squash bugs right now that I'm talking about squash bugs, of course. So lots of sage. I think I'll be harvesting celeriac really soon, and we're probably getting really close to being done with tomatoes, but you know, they're still hanging on. So I'll do another harvest and kind of be looking forward to pulling these plants actually, because it'll make some space. We want to take this cattle panel down because it really feels like it's blocking the whole garden. Ground cherries are my worst nightmare this year because we're not really getting any to eat because the chipmunk's eating them all, but they're taking up so much space in my garden because they just self-seeded everywhere. So I think I'm going to walk around and just pull all of the ground cherries. Here are carrots and beets, Brussels sprouts, but I just don't know that I'm gonna actually get any Brussels sprouts. Kale, spring onions. This is a hollyhock that I gotta dig up and put somewhere else. It's just too big. It's like taken over the vegetable garden. And then lots of little cucamelons growing. It's all very pretty. There's a lot of space, so I'm gonna be able to come in here and plant some baby greens, maybe some bok choy and radish. So here are the leeks. I'm wondering if some of these are probably ready to come out. I don't know that they're gonna get much bigger. I've never grown leeks full size before, so it's pretty exciting. There's amaranth there. Does look like we're getting some peppers on the pepper plant. So you can see that's all ground cherry that's taken over the entire ground. Dave came in here and he just dumped mulch everywhere, so I have to like clear out the garden so I can spread the mulch a little bit better. I have a little lost chicken that I have to help find her friends. She's crying to me. I don't know if you can see her back there. Little Jojo, I'm gonna come. So I will say goodbye. Thanks for being here, appreciate you. Bye. Did you lose your friends? I'll come help you. I'll come help you find them.